a symbol of the conflict between Japan and China pandas, have disappeared from Japan.
So today we're looking into something pretty historic. For the first time in over 50 years, there are 0 giant pandas left in Japan. We're going to break down how this happened and what it might just signal about the world today. And this really captures the mood. Just imagine the scene at Narita Airport. Fans gathered to say one last, very emotional goodbye. It was sad for sure, but you could also feel this real sense of support for the animals.
Because once the twin pandas, Xiao Xiao and Lei Lei, were on that flight back to China, this became the official count of pandas left in Japan. 0. I mean, that hasn't happened in more than half a century.
But, this isn't just about a couple of animals leaving a zoo. No, this is way bigger. The departure of these pandas really does mark the end of an era. I mean, the send-off for these two was a massive national event. The demand to see them one last time was so crazy the zoo had to hold a lottery, and your odds of winning a ticket were less than 5%. That just tells you everything about the deep connection people felt.
Okay, so to really get why this goodbye feels so significant, we've got to rewind the clock. Let's go all the way back to a really pivotal moment in history, 1972.
Now, this was not just a delivery of some cute, fluffy animals. This was a huge diplomatic moment. Their arrival was front-page news, a massive symbol of a major political shift. And their arrival just set off this nationwide panda boom. Kangkong and Lanlan became instant celebrities, these powerful living symbols of a brand new friendship between the two nations. All right, so let's zoom out and look at the bigger strategy at play here, which is famously known as panda diplomacy. And it's a really fascinating tool of international relations. So what it boils down to is using these animals that pretty much everyone loves to build bridges and send political messages. It's a very calculated strategy, and it's changed a lot over the last 80 years. And as you can see on this timeline, the whole reason for sending pandas abroad has shifted right along with the geopolitical climate. It started as a gesture during a war, then became a tool for Cold War alliances, and then boom, a symbol of opening up to the West.
Now, what's really fascinating here is just how clearly you can see the shift. It went from being a completely free gift of goodwill to a very structured and very expensive conservation program. We're talking loan fees around $1 million a year. And here's the kicker. China always retains ownership of the pandas and any cubs that are born abroad.
But it's not all about the diplomacy, right? There's the actual story of the pandas themselves. These loan programs are all officially for conservation and research, and there's been some real success there. And this chart just illustrates the good news perfectly. Thanks to huge conservation efforts, which are partly funded by these international loans, the wild panda population has actually been going up. A survey back in the early 2000s found about 1,600, and a decade later, that number was up over 1,800. But, and this is a big but, the species is still considered vulnerable. Their natural habitat in China's mountains is getting chopped up by human activity. We're talking new roads, dams, farms, all of it creeping into their territory and making it harder for them to survive in the wild. So, how does all this bring us back to that empty enclosure at the UN Zoo? I mean, if conservation is getting better and the loan program is well established, why is Japan now pandaless? Well, this is the key. You see, while the loan contract for Xiao Xiao and Lei Lei did officially end, it's the timing that's so telling. It's happening during a pretty frosty period between the two countries. The Japanese government actually asked for a new pair of pandas, but China's response has been, let's just say, cautious. No firm commitment. And, one analyst really hit the nail on the head, saying that pandas have become a mirror reflecting the state of Japan-China relations. Their presence, or in this case, their absence, is a really clear sign of how healthy that relationship is. So what's the big takeaway here? Well, it seems the return of pandas to Japan might have less to do with conservation or how good the zoo is, and a lot more to do with the shifting, unpredictable winds of international politics. That empty enclosure at the UN Zoo is a quiet symbol, yeah, but it's a really powerful one.